two parts don't always seem like they fit right away. Fitting in and working with all the other parts sometimes takes a little tweaking. Once the part is in place and functioning as planned, everything seems to be serving its purpose, clicking at the right speed and rolling along. Well, kind of. Well, it's been a pretty good homestand so far for the Phillies. They've won 3 of the first 4 games, 2 of 3 against the Braves. Last night they defeated the Nationals in Game 1. And tonight it's game number 2 from Citizens Bank Park in this 4-game series. The Phils with a record of 44-46 as play begins this evening. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Tonight the Phils and the Nationals get together for Game 2, and Cole Hamels is on the mound. We'll talk about him in just a little bit, but let's first talk about the leadoff man for the Phillies. He has had an unbelievable couple of months.
It's amazing when you consider the way he started out. Ben Revere was a guy that really couldn't hit the ball out of the infield for almost a month, and now all of a sudden he's found it. Some of the things that made him such a good player with Minnesota and why they went out and got him. Hit a couple of cutters his first 2 times up for base hits, stole third base, front end of a double steal in the first inning last night, really energized everybody. Then he gets himself a double here. The Phillies have a couple runs on the board early. This is later in the game. Turns out to be a huge run. In fact, it's going to be the run that wins the ball game as Jimmy hits this ball right in front of Jason Worth. Worth makes a very strong throw. Revere a slide, the gymnastic move, or as Sarge called it, an upsy doodle or something like that. It was a heck of a backflip that Ben Revere did right there after he scored that run that turned out to be the winning run in the ball game. This is what he's done overall in 84 games, hitting at a cool 300. Not going to knock in a lot of runs, but he's stealing bases and he's scoring runs. Scoring runs is really important.
Yeah, his on-base percentage has been much better, too, while his average is rising. Of course, one goes with the other a lot of times. And tonight, it'll be Cole Hamels who will look for that same offensive support that he got his last time out against the Pirates.
Yeah, he was really good in that game, Tom. He threw the ball over the plate. Didn't look like he was trying to hit or nibble as much. And he basically said that he just went out there and pitched his game and decided to just do that, and he had tremendous stuff. He had great location with everything, used his changeup, his cutter, his curveball, spotted his fastball really well. He's had a tremendous fastball all year. Really kept the ball out of the middle of the plate to the Pittsburgh Pirates and won that ball game, and he really needed to do that. Now, he has had a lot of starts against these Washington record of 8-3, an outstanding earned run average, and the Phillies are 10-3 in the games that he started here, and they hope they can carry that on tonight.
Yeah, and like a lot of earlier season starts, his last start against the Nationals didn't go all that well, so he's hoping to continue to rebound as we get set for the All-Star break. It is Game 2 of this 4-game series. Taylor Jordan, who's had a pretty good rise through the Nationals system, well, he'll be the starter for Washington, making his 3rd Major League start of the season. Well, after you win a game like they did last night, you can joke around a little bit. Tell you what, I don't know if it's easier or harder to catch a baseball with that kind of glove. I know they won't be using that in the game. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Toyota's independent sales event is going on now. Visit your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking? By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Phillies and the Washington Nationals. The umpires have just received the lineup cards at home plate, and they're awaiting the arrival of the Phillies to take the field behind left-hander Cole Hamels. Home plate is going to be manned by Vic Carapazza. He's one of the youngest of the 4 umpires that are out there for tonight's ball game. Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief, will be at first, Kerwin Danley at second, and Lance Barksdale around at third. Now the Phillies take the field. The Fanatic will head off the field. Let's take a look at the Washington Nationals starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off in left field, Scott Hairston. Yep, that's Scott Hairston. Ian Desmond, the shortstop, bats second. Bryce Harper hits third. Ryan Zimmerman's at third base. He'll bat cleanup. Jason Worth will hit fifth. Adam LaRoche will bat sixth. Then the bottom third of Rendon, Suzuki, and Taylor Jordan. And they'll face Phillies left-hander Cole Hamels. Hamels coming off a start in which he went 7 innings, allowed 5 hits and 2 runs, just 1 earned against the Pirates.
Real good start for Cole, winning his 3rd game of the year. The Phillies have won the last 2 decisions, or 2 games that he has pitched, and that doesn't sound like such a big deal, but before that, they never won when he pitched. Not only did he not win, but they didn't win. Scouting report on Cole, his stuff has been good all year. Maybe too many walks, but other than that, and against Washington, excellent, as we talked about in the opening. And in this ballpark, he has really been good. 8-3 here.
Look at his numbers from a year ago at this point, Wheels. He was 10-4 with an ERA of 3.20.
Yeah. Well, it is time now for the Nissan keys to tonight's game. And you said, oh, that Hairston? Well, I got him down as a key to the game because they put him up in the leadoff spot, because they want him to get as many plate appearances against Cole as he can, and Tom will be go over those numbers in a minute. And this Jordan tonight, he has allowed only 1 home run in 2 minor league stops and 2 big league starts. A lot of innings pitched. He evidently throws a lot of ground balls, and he can get strikeouts too, so we're anxious to see him dealing with fastball changeup.
Well, Scott Hairston just acquired a couple days ago from the Chicago Cubs, where he was hitting just 172. Did have 8 home runs and 19 runs batted in. He has 5 career home runs against Cole Hamels. And the first pitch is over for a strike.
And for good measure, he's mixed in 5 doubles too. That's all.
Yeah, last year he was 4 for 10 against Hamels with 2 home runs.
And most of the time he hits him on high fastballs.
No balls, 1 strike. A little low with that pitch. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Hamels' only other outing against the Nationals this year. He went 6 1/3, allowed 6 hits and 5 runs. And there's a line drive, base hit it to center field, so Hairston's aboard to start the first.
Fastball out over the plate. Well, he kept him in the ballpark. It's amazing. It's just like he knows what's coming. Some guys are like that with certain pitchers.
You talked last night about how Delman Young, his first 2 at-bats, did not see the ball well out of Dan Herron's hand. It doesn't matter what year it is. Hairston sees the ball very well out of Cole Hamels' hand.
It just does. And that was not one of those high fastballs that he's really hurt Cole with over the years. That was more away and in a pretty good spot. And he still just took it right back through the middle.
Here's Ian Desmond. Desmond was 0 for 4 last night with 3 strikeouts. He shows bunt, bunts it foul. He tried to bunt his way on last night.
I don't get that. Got a left-handed pitcher out there. You got a left-handed hitter coming up, even though it's Bryce Harper. You can hit home runs. You can hit doubles. And you're in a small ballpark on a hot night. You don't bunt. And he certainly did not have a sign to bunt.
Fouls it back, 0-2.
He does go to Rip City all the time. There's no doubt about that. He only has 1 swing. But still, it's pretty effective.
Desmond is part of the final vote for this year's All-Star game. The final vote, which Freddie Freeman continues to lead after the 2nd day. Hairston leads off first, the 0-2 pitch. Get back towards second. That should be 2. Utley to Rollins. They can do it in their sleep. It's a 4-6-3 double play. And there are 2 outs.
Especially when they have that much time. Balls hit that hard near the red. That's why we talk all the time about, say, infielders cheat towards the middle on the double play. That's why. because they cheat towards the middle. They take the middle of the diamond away, and then everything's real quick around the bag. Get it to him in a hurry. Jimmy can get out of the way. No takeout slide involved. Shortstop's delight. In fact, there's not even a slide from Hairston that they had that ball to second base so quickly.
Now 2 away, just 6 pitches for Hamels. Now Bryce Harper. Harper had 2 hits and 3 at bats in last night's ball game. And he grounds that one foul. That was a good pitch by Hamels. A 92-mile-an-hour fastball in the inner half.
These guys had that little fun encounter last year where he hit him and then he wound up stealing home eventually. Game in Washington on a Sunday night.
That was that spot where Hamels didn't admit after the game. He said, well, yeah, I hit him on purpose.
Right. That's something, of course, he shouldn't have said. But he did. And that really caused it back and forth.
1 ball, 1 strike to Bryce Harper. Off-speed pitch. It's 1-2. He nearly spun his helmet right off his head.
Well, he's coming out throwing a lot of fastballs tonight, and he threw Harper fastballs, and then he comes with that Bugs Bunny changeup of his, and he really fooled him with it. Great job by Carlos Ruiz there. You saw him shake his head, and so Hamels shakes, and that makes a hitter think, all right, they're going off speed. They're shaking off the fastball. Now watch him shake his head, and he wants Hamels to shake, and now he puts down 1 away, fastball away, and that's really good back and forth to try and confuse a hitter.
There's a curveball, and it's a called strike 3. First strikeout of the night for Cole Hamels. He locked Bryce Harper. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. He's going to throw this kind of pitch against the left-handed batter all night long. Cole Hamels is going to have himself a pretty good evening. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup for tonight's ball game. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off in center field, Ben Revere. Then Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley. The formula continues with Dominic Brown as the cleanup batter. Michael Young hits 5th, Delman Young 6th. Darren Ruff is over at first again, batting 7th. Ruiz hits 8th. And batting 9th and pitching is Carlos Ruiz. And they'll face 24-year-old right-hander Taylor Jordan, making his 3rd major league start.
Yeah, 3rd major league start. He never pitched higher than Double-A. Came right out of Harrisburg up here to replace Detweiler. Look what he did in the minor leagues this year. Stop at Potomac and then at Harrisburg. 9-1 with a 1 earned run average. That's his major league numbers to this point. He has thrown 1 home run ball this year, and that was at Single-A Potomac. Scouting report have him as a sinker ball in that range. Now a slider or a slurve, just watching him warm up, it's kind of in between, it looks like. And they say he has an excellent changeup that he likes to throw to left-handed hitters especially. 7-0 at Harrisburg, and also watching him just throw right now, he's really a long armor, which should be interesting to see how he can throw his changeup with that motion.
Well, Ben Revere leads it off. Revere's hit in 6 consecutive games, and he takes a strike. Revere is 8 for 18 on this homestand. His average is right at 300. Good luck at McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contest. It is Scott Tutton of Exton. Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game. The Tut's going to win $200.
That's got to be his nickname.
Has to be. And if not, well, maybe we've just given him a new nickname.
I'll say, if he didn't have that nickname, now millions of people have just heard that.
Back toward the middle, and it dribbles into center field. Another hit for Revere. And he's hit it 7 consecutive games.
They threw him all fastballs. That was a nice piece of hitting, too, to just hit it right back through the middle. Fastball, a little bit away, off the end of the bat slightly, but using the middle of the field. And that's what he's been doing lately. He hits it all over the place. He's harder to defense, too.
Revere did steal third last night. He has 21 stolen bases on the year. He's got Kurt Suzuki behind the plate. Suzuki's thrown out, according to Baseball Reference, 13% of the runners trying to steal this year. Ground ball towards second. That might be 2. Flip to second for 1. And Desmond with a quick toss over to first. Boy, there was a day where Jimmy Rollins would be able to beat any double play ball. Doesn't matter where it was hit.
Yeah, and you also, he does swing at the first pitch a lot, and it works a lot of times. In that case, he's going to go first ball, fastball hunting to hit it in the hole. But this kid has an amazing percentage of outs on fastball, on ground balls and strikeouts. Not a fly ball pitcher. So that's one thing as a hitter, you do your research on him before the game, and you realize you're probably not going to lift the ball on him a whole lot. And one of the reasons you go up there and you find out, well, why don't you lift the ball on him a lot? Look for the movement and all that.
Oh, just like Hamels rolled a double play, Jordan rolls a double play. Chase Utley takes outside.
And base stealers were 3 for 3 off him already in his brief major league career. So you never had a chance to go. His times, his high time, if he doesn't slide step, was high enough to run on with that big delivery.
Taylor Jordan is out of Merritt Island, Florida. He was drafted 2 different times. Signed with the Nationals after being selected in the 9th round of the 2009 draft.
Kind of looked that up, weren't quite sure, and it's off the east coast of Florida, up near Cocoa and Cape Canaveral, in that area.
He stayed in that area and went to Brevard County Community College, a very good community college. 2 balls, 1 strike. And now time is called.
It'd be really easy to call him Jordan Taylor, too. He's fighting that all day. Kind of works, doesn't it?
It does. 94 on that fastball. It's 2-2. Pulls it toward right. Worth goes back on it, and he's there. And the side is retired. Well, Will said he had a good changeup, and there it was right there to retire Chase. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. To the second we go in a scoreless game. of this series. Thursday's Game 4. Fireworks after Game 4. Tickets are available for both games remaining against the Nationals. The 3 games against the White Sox coming up. You can get those tickets by going to Phillies.com. We go to the second. Ryan Zimmerman will lead it off. Zimmerman was 2 for 4 last night. He's already put together 63 at-bats against Cole Hamels in his career. And he fouls the first pitch off to the right.
Yeah, he has good numbers against him. Not great, nothing like Hairston. He beat Cole Hamels a game here a few years ago in this ballpark, 1-0 on a cold, windy night in April when he sliced the ball down the right field line right around the pole.
I remember everybody was marveling that on that kind of night that the ball actually went out.
Yeah.
In that area.
And that was the only place it really could go out because the wind was blowing so hard from left to right. It just kind of pushed it.
1 ball, 1 strike to Zimmerman. Fly ball. Foul territory. Right field line. Ruff spun around. Makes the catch with his back to the infield. Not an easy play, but he was able to get to it. And 1 out. Kind of overran it.
Yeah, you know, he played a lot of first base, and one thing first basemen know when you play over there is the ball's going to come back towards the infield. Just the spin does that to it. And a lot of times it's like a catcher. They'll get into a certain area and almost wait for it to come back to them when they have time.
Earlier today, they were doing some work around first base, more for the outfielders and the cutoffs, getting Ruff used to that. But then after it was over with, it was really a neat scene. Michael Young and John McDonald were both coming over and talking about footwork on certain plays for Darren Ruff, and they were going over some things, and you could see that there was advice being given by Michael and John McDonald to Darren, and he kept nodding his head yes. It was really cool to see 2 veterans, you know, offer some words of advice to a young player.
2 very experienced infielders helping him out there. Boy, Worth, that was funny, that first pitch. Worth went up there. You know, he hardly ever swings at the first pitch. We talk about him playing possum the way that he does once in a while. He went up there hacking at a first ball fastball, and he got a change up like he didn't hurt his back.
Out toward left center field. That one's going to go out toward the wall and over the wall. And it's 1-0 Washington. He didn't look like he even got a good swing on that.
Oh, it's hot. And that was a changeup up. Now, he swung and missed at a changeup the first time, and you're talking about it looked so bad, and he kind of laughed about it in a way. But the second changeup he sees on the 3rd pitch, he's not way out in front of it. He's out in front of it a little bit, but he's so strong it just jumped out. And on a hot night, they go a lot further than they would in April.
Oh, the 9th home run of the year for Worth, and he gives the Nationals a 1-0 lead here in the second. Roach takes outside.
It's 14th home run given up by Hamels this year, 12 to left-hand or to right-handed batters.
Fly ball left field. Dominic Brown calls off Ben Revere, and there are 2 outs. Anthony Rendon's coming up. Let's check in with Murph. Murph, welcome to the telecast.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here, D-Mac. You know, you're not withstanding Jason Worth's home run. Everybody in the ballpark hoping that Cole Hamels can have the same kind of success that John Lannon had last night. 2 left-handers against this Nationals lineup. Take a look at what the Nationals have done this year against left-handers. They are dead last in the National League in batting average against left-handers at .215. Tied for 14th in runs in the National League. You look down there. On-base percentage also last. And guys, this is a team that batted .265 a year ago against left-handed pitching. That was good for 6th in the National League. So they have really struggled against lefties. The Phillies throwing 3 lefties at them during this series, so they're hoping to have similar success.
There's a fly ball down the right field line. Delman Young is there, makes the catch. Side is retired.
I was going to say to you, Murph, and the inning's over so fast, but that's one of the reasons why they brought Hairston in, I guess.
And Hairston leading off. Jason Worth, another right-handed hitter. His 9th home run of the year has given the Nationals a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the second in Philadelphia. computer, smartphone, or tablet to log on to csnphilly.com. Click on In-Game Live to get in-depth stats and join the social conversation. In-Game Live only at csnphilly.com. Nationals 1, Phillies nothing as we go to the bottom of the second. If you're watching in Rib Lake, Wisconsin, those folks want to say hello. The young lady was holding up a sign for her grandmother and grandfather. There you go. And TJ.
Where Rib Lake, Wisconsin is.
That's an excellent question, Wheels.
You know there's a lot of lakes, though, in Wisconsin and Minnesota. Michigan. Beautiful country.
Dominic Brown takes outside as we begin the bottom of the second. Dominic with 23 home runs, 63 runs batted in. 7-game hitting streak. A lot of guys with hitting streaks for the Phillies coming into this ball game.
Good changeup there. That's the pitch they say he's very good with it. It has tremendous arm speed, which is something when you take the ball back that far and it looks just like a fastball.
Left center field. Harper, a step from the track, makes the catch, one away. During the 2013 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream. Sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Wheels, Rib Lake, Wisconsin is between Green Bay and Minneapolis. About 3.5 hours from Minneapolis.
And that would be beautiful country up there. Probably pretty brutal in the winter, but this time of the year, really nice.
Michael Young is the batter, and Young takes a strike. According to the Rib Lake website, the area offers many outdoor activities.
I guess.
A lot of great fishing, local trails.
Yeah.
And, of course, Phillies baseball.
Yeah. I can't picture an area like that in Wisconsin that doesn't have a lot of outdoor activity. A lot of open spaces in that area.
1-1 the count to Michael Young. He's hit in 3 straight. And that one's up the third baseline foul. During this homestand, Young has 5 hits in 14 at bats. Sneak a fastball by him. That one was at 92 miles an hour. It remains 1-2.
It got a little bit steamy again this afternoon and this evening, so it's not tough to get loose out there or get moisture on the baseball.
The conditions 85 degrees, mostly cloudy.
There would be some humidity here if we had the humidity up there, because you can feel it's pretty steamy.
Outside, 3-2.
He's a little bit of a crossfire guy too when you watch him here against right-handed hitters. Phillies had a lot of left-handed hitters early against him, and now with all these right-handed hitters, you see him go crossfire, trying to hit the outside part of the plate. You understand he does not throw his changeup often to right-handed hitters, but he loves it to left-handed hitters. There they go away again.
Down low, ball 4, and Young works out a walk. Following his first start, Taylor Jordan got a word of advice from first baseman Adam LaRoche. LaRoche felt like Jordan may have been tipping his pitches, so he let him know. I'm not sure if LaRoche saw it from where he was at first base or if somebody had said something to him, but he let him know, and They never said what kind of adjustments Jordan made. I guess they wouldn't.
Right.
But he did make some kind of adjustments to hide the pitches he was throwing.
Well, a lot of times it's going to be with a glove, flare the glove. There's different ways that a pitcher can tip pitches and don't even realize they're doing it. And it's always nice if your side can pick it up before their side does.
No balls, 1 strike to Delman Young. Nice play by Suzuki.
Well, he went to a slide step that time, and he just didn't look comfortable. And I think he slipped. He's looking at his spikes right now. Young, not necessarily a guy who's going to run. Tom said a really good play there by Suzuki, because that, see the slide step, and he slipped, I think, because he looked right down at the mound and then at his foot. But that's what he must do to try and keep runners close, is a little slide step. Right now, if you're a right-handed hitter, he hasn't even thought about throwing a pitch inside. You really have to watch how he approaches other right-handed hitters and think, well, he's not coming inside at all. Maybe I can look away.
That was a hanging slider, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, he just pulled off it so much that it was hard to get to it.
There he goes with that slide step again, and Suzuki was able to grab that ball.
Both times he's gone to slide step, he has really looked uncomfortable delivering the pitch. And I don't know why they want him to slide step here, because Young's not a guy who's going to run. Now, whether they tell him to do it or not, I don't know. But it's really not necessary for him to do it, especially the way he almost throws wild pitches with it.
That one's pulled down the left field line, foul.
Good, they're running on the count there, and he got a pitch middle in. That's one of the first pitches, if not the first pitch, he's thrown even close to being inside. I don't know that he meant to do it.
Young goes, and the pitch is walloped foul.
Came inside again that time, but he's not. Let's see, does Suzuki want the ball inside? He wants it down. Now that ball leaked on him in a little bit into the happy zone, and it's just that Young got out front of it a little bit both times. I don't think they want those pitches there.
Well, this will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat. See if Michael Young takes off again. They throw over, and Michael is back easily.
Yeah, they throw over there. But he's not trying to steal a base, obviously. No. When the count's 3-2, he's just trying to run. He's going to run on the count, which means you get 0 jump. Because you're not trying to get a jump. You're just trying to be in motion to stay out of a double play, or maybe first or third on a base hit.
Runner goes. Pitch is lined sharply on one hop to short. Desmond gets rid of it really quick. And they're able to turn the double play. It's the 2nd straight inning. The Nationals turn a double play. And the side is retired. No runs, no hits, nobody left. End of 2. Nationals on top 1-0. On to Phillies.com. Go to the fan section for all the information. And Wheels, please, we implore you to submit your answer on the subject line. Here's the question. Who was the key player the Washington Senators acquired in '64 in a trade with the Dodgers for Claude Osteen? You know that answer?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the answer will be revealed in the 7th inning.
Maybe. You never know. But it's for the fans anyway. I have a guess. Sometimes you go with your first instinct, right?
Have to go with your first instinct, Wheels.
That was a good job they did last inning, too. The Phillies trying to run in that situation because this guy throws a lot of ground balls. Stay out of a double play. Well, that ball that Young hit was absolutely scalded to shortstop, and they would have gotten their first and third out of it easily if it wasn't right at Desmond.
And to Desmond's credit, he did get rid of it quickly.
Oh, he could have. That ball was hit so hard that Young was 30 feet from the bag when they turned that thing.
Desmond made a heck of a play last night of the ball hit by Jimmy Rollins.
Big time shortstop. Going to get better and better as he knows the league, knows the hitters, because athletically, wow, does he have ability. Great arm, too. Tall. He can cover a lot of ground because he's so tall.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Suzuki. And it hit him. And that'll bring Taylor Jordan to the plate. Sacrifice.
1 for 4 in his brief major league career with a strikeout, so he has not had a sacrifice. The cutter, it looked like. Yeah, it was a cutter, and it came running in on him and hit him right on that elbow pad. He's a catcher. Sometimes you can get them at second if the bunt's too hard.
He bunts it back toward the mound. The only play is at first. So the sacrifice is successful. 1-4 on the putout.
Nice job by the young player.
Now it's time now for our Geico quote of the day, and it comes from Cole Hamels on what he's improved on. Just being able to get back to what I know and establishing the strike zone early. Throwing all my pitches. I think ultimately staying down in the zone. I think that's where I've gotten hurt in the past. He certainly did that in his last start against the Pirates. He got ahead of Pittsburgh.
Well, he's kicking himself. That you don't want to hit the 8-hole hitter because guys bat 8 for a reason. And now he's got to deal with Harrison in an RBI situation.
By the way, Wheels, that was 1-3 on the putout. I said 1-4, but I saw it was rough over at first. So 1-3 on the putout. Hairston singled his first time up. That one's inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Cole's comments after his last start, the win against the Pirates, they were kind of entertaining, to be honest with you. Folks asked him what they told him when, I'm talking Charlie Manuel and Rich Doobie, when they said he was going to get a couple of extra days. Cole said, well, they told me to go up to the mountaintop and light some candles. So he was trying to make fun at his own expense. He did say all the right things, though, about getting the 2 extra days. I'm sure he didn't want them, but he said it was Charlie and Rich Doobie's decision. And it was something that, he wasn't going to argue with.
Well, he's going to get 3 more starts before the All-Star break, so this is the way he gets them.
Which is what they pointed out to him.
See if he can put him away with 2 strikes.
And he does. He throws a cutter on the outside part of the plate. There are 2 outs.
Well, it's tough. It's a tough battle. Harrison didn't think it was a strike. I think he thought it was either low or outside or both. Cole Hamels tries something a little different with him. As Tom said, throws a cutter there, and that's really close with 2 strikes. It certainly isn't low. Carlos brings it in and pulls it up. Just make sure on both sides. That's low, he says.
Well, now Desmond, who grounded it to a double play his first time. Fly ball right field. Delman Young goes back on it and puts it away. Side is retired. So Hamels is able to work around the leadoff hit batter. We played 2.5 here in Philadelphia. When we come back for the bottom of the third, Darren Ruff will lead it off for the Phillies. It's not worth building. Buy W.B. Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Bottom of the third. Nationals on top 1-0. They'll be Darren Ruff, Carlos Ruiz, and Cole Hamels for the Phillies. Darren so far 3 for 7 since he's been brought up from the minor leagues. The on deck circle trying to time Taylor Jordan. Darren made 19 appearances down in AAA as the first baseman for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. Every other start that he made, an appearance, was in left field. Charlie Manuel talked today saying that in retrospect he was happy that they decided to have Ruff start at least a game a week down in AAA because it gives him a chance to settle in easily here in the big leagues over at first base. It takes outside. It's 0-1.
And once again, as you said, outside, he keeps pitching away to these right-handed hitters. There he goes, setting up out there again.
0-2. Down on a breaking ball, and that's the first strikeout for Jordan. And 1 out for Ruiz. This Friday, the Phillies take on the Chicago White Sox at the start of a 3-game series. Following the first game, it's Xfinity Fireworks Show. Then Sunday, 1:35 first pitch. It's Pennsylvania Auto Theft Prevention Authority Travel Mug, free to fans 15 and over. Final Interleague games here at Citizens Bank Park for the season. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets.
Talking to Charlie about Carlos on his radio show tonight, his pregame show, and about him being kind of long and fast with his swing right now. He said, yeah, they're trying to get him to slow everything down a little bit because his best success comes when he's a little shorter with everything, a little shorter and a little quicker, and he's long with everything right now. Where he was at this point last year, played a lot of games though.
That one's back toward the middle. Should be an easy play for Rendon, and there are 2 outs. don't know if you noticed, Wills, but Carapazza turned over toward the Nationals dugout. I think they wanted that first pitch to Ruiz. I thought it was outside. I thought the first pitch to Ruff was outside. That was called a strike, but
well, they're trying to help their young pitcher.
It's interesting, though. It's interesting, though, because he's gotten a lot of the outside part of the plate.
Well, that's where he's zeroing in on. And now the left-handed hitters, he throws a lot of change-ups.
Carapazza behind the plate.
Big hole, big gap in right center for Hamels. Playing him the other way. Gives him a little respect there too and throws him a changeup. There you see this big area out here. Now Hamels will pull balls out there too. Bryce Harper playing in center field tonight, giving Harrison a chance to play against Hamels. There he is.
Foul ball. It remains 2-2.
Didn't think he'd throw 3-2 changeup. Rivera on deck. See, Cole would have a fastball to hit here.
Out toward right center field. Worth on the run. Out toward the track. Out toward the scoreboard. He has room. But he makes the catch.
He got his fastball.
The next side is retired. He just got under it a little bit. Phillies go down in order in their half of the third. Jordan has faced the minimum so far through 3. He's allowed 1 hit. WB Mason carries the products you need to clean your business. WB Mason now specializes in delivering an all-star selection of janitorial supplies same day. Well, the sun peeking out as we go to the top of the 4th. Nationals lead at 1-0 on a home run by Jason Worth. Well, just like Lucas 2 days ago, that could be that young lady's first game here at Citizens Bank Park. Getting a chance to see the rivalry that has become the Phillies and the Nationals. Bryce Harper, Ryan Zimmerman, and Jason Worth will lead it off for the Nats. who are at 46 and 43, 5 games behind the Atlanta Braves, and 2.5 games ahead of the Phillies for second place. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Rob Brantley has hit a 3-run home run for the Marlins, and they lead the Braves 3-1. Braves won the game last night in extra innings, long after this one was over. The Mets, though, played an even longer game in San Francisco, that the Mets won in 16.
As long as you're playing those extra inning ball games, you're coming out on top, you feel good about that. It makes you tired, and all of a sudden, once you win those games, you got a lot more energy, especially going into the next day.
Swing and a miss and a changeup. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Got a stance too that's a little bit unorthodox, just the way that he actually holds his hands. It's something that actually works for him.
Over toward the right side, backhanded by Ruff. Hamels is there to cover. Nice play. 1 out. All-Star voting isn't over quite yet. You can vote for the final player for each league roster until Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Go to Phillies.com and cast your All-Star game final vote for the final 2 All-Stars for the game in New York. Vote at Phillies.com or on your mobile phone. There are the updated numbers or updated leaders. The National League and the American League. Dominic Brown does not have to worry about the final vote because he is going.
Good feeling. Being able to be named on the team, and especially the way that he started off the year. He's got to be really proud of himself. Not only that, the team too. Good pitch.
Breaking ball, and it's 0-1. Mentioned yesterday that Dominic Brown was not selected for the home run derby. David Wright said if it weren't for his friendship with Michael Kadire, they both grew up in the Virginia Beach area. He alluded to the fact that Dominic Brown probably would have been the guy.
Well, let's hope that they represent the National League the way that they should. Got their work cut out for them, however, with the American League.
For the American League today added Cespedes from the Oakland A's. The reason there was a TBA for Robinson Cano is because he asked Miguel Cabrera to be part of it, along with Prince Fielder.
Yep.
And Miguel's back is, it just felt like it was stiffened. It has been bothering him so much that he did not want to hamper the second half of the season.
Well, you're thinking about trying to win. That's the most important thing. And if you feel that you may injure yourself where you're not able to play for your team, then it's a good choice.
To the right side. And Utley comes in a step over to his left, 2 outs.
Cole doing a good job keeping that ball out of the zone, even though Worth hit that ball out. Didn't think it was a bad pitch. Caught a little bit too much of the plate, up just a little bit. Same pitch, just away. Probably have different results.
You mentioned last night that Worth had his hands up a little higher than usual. Did you ask him about that today?
Oh yeah, sure did. Went in, talked with him about that. He felt that with his hands up that high, he's in more of a hitting position. Before, his hands were a little bit low. Take a look at this. Oh, it's just a good swing. He located it and he went out and drove the ball. That's what it's all about, being able to pick up whatever spin on the ball. If he's going to get high and low, he should be ready to work with him.
Got him off balance. Darren Ruff comes running in. Ruiz is there too, and it's Ruff who says he's got it. And he makes the catch. Side is retired. A 1-2-3 fourth inning for Hamels. A nice job by him. 6 in a row retired by the Phillies left-handers. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Sounds of that is going on now. Visit your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Is it a time you experience good banking? And by Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. Home half of the fourth inning. The Phillies trail it by 1. Top of the order is due up, so second time around against Taylor Jordan. Jordan's allowed 1 hit so far. It was to the guy that is strutting up to the plate as we speak, Ben Revere.
Well, he's hitting with a lot of confidence now. Starting to inch over that 300 mark. He was going back and forth, 299, 297. The one thing he continues to do is get those singles, and he's staying up the middle a lot better, and line drives. And when you do that, good foundation, you're going to get hits.
Easy play for Desmond, the shortstop. So on 2 pitches, 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. Well, earlier today, Sarge made good on a great opportunity for some Phillies fans who bid on the opportunity to watch him cook and prepare a full meal. How did it go, buddy?
Actually went pretty good there, to tell you the truth. And again, the guys came up from Lancaster. You can see on the very right there, our executive chef here, Jamie, was just kind of overseeing it, helping out some, but I did. You know what? They loved it, and there was none left. I wanted to bring some for obviously you guys, but what can I say?
Well, the gentleman bid on an opportunity to see you cook, and it was all for a great cause. It was for Phillies charities.
Yep.
It was nice of you to give up your time. It looked outstanding. And Jamie, the executive chef, was just there to oversee things.
Yeah, oversee and give you a few hints.
Ground ball right side. And there are 2 outs.
But that's a recipe, though, that I've been doing for a long time.
Now that is 1 big portion that Sarge, and you cooked it, so you should help yourself.
Yeah, and that's that Capri salad there, where I stuffed the mozzarella cheese on the inside of the tomato, and tomatoes from Lancaster was outstanding.
Yeah.
outstanding. I have to say so myself.
Little balsamic vinaigrette.
Balsamic vinaigrette on it, little kosher salt and pepper.
Can't forget the pepper.
Bay leaf and just a little twist of the, truffle oil.
There's Chase Utley, and Utley takes low. All right, so caprese salad. I saw mimoso. Chops.
Well, we had lollipops, we call them, lamb chops, yep.
Okay.
And
roasted potatoes.
Roasted potatoes, and we threw a little corn on the cob just in case, because you never know what starch people really like. And, of course, green vegetables, you got to have that.
And you had a little asparagus.
Exactly.
So you've been here since this morning. That was lunch, basically, right?
Yeah, I've been here since 9 o'clock, Tom. I mean,
all right, well,
fresh and ready to go here tonight.
Absolutely.
So taking no time off.
Got the right shirt on.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Follow directions, read, no colors.
There's a line drive toward right center field for Utley. That one is going to roll out toward the track, and Utley is on his way to second. He may think 3. Nope, he's put the brakes on. And that was a good job because they got that ball in quickly. A 2-out double, second hit for the Phillies. And here comes Dominic Brown.
Well, always thinking, knowing that he doesn't want to make that last out at third base. If he had been able to look at it or maybe even hit a little bit harder than it goes, this play right in front of him. So he doesn't even need a coach there. He can look at that ball and see as it's developing. Thought he might have had a shot. You can see he's looking there and he breaks it down himself. Not even looking at Ryan Sandberg, third base coach. He's such a good runner anyway. It's like it's his own coach, to be quite frank.
Brown fly to center his first time up.
Really great to see him develop as a hitter. The confidence that he has up there now. That's part of it. Being able to take close pitches after he sees a strike on the inside part of the plate. And when you're hitting like that, ball almost seems like a big basketball coming up there.
That one's out toward right field. Here comes Jason Worth. He can't get it. He plays it on the hop. Utley's heading home. The throw to the plate. He is saved. Suzuki dropped the ball. Brown going to second. That gets away. Brown's on his way to third. Phillies have tied it up, and they've got a runner at third with 2 men down. Boy, Utley was not going to be stopped going around third.
Very aggressive again. Utley coming around third base. He feels the same way you did in the old school days. You're on second base hit, you score. Jason Worth being a little bit close. Take a look at it. He catches that on the short hop. Has a difficult time in throwing. It gets off a pretty good throw, but however, too short as Utley comes in to avoid the tag. Might have been out if he had hung on to the ball. Take a look at it coming in as it spikes. I don't know if it hit the plate or not, but again, that ball is out of the glove. By then, Young calling him safe. Utley calling him his own self safe.
Well, now Michael Young.
With all that going on, Dominic Brown scampers all the way to third.
Yeah, give an RBI single to Brown. Goes to second on the throw by Suzuki and third on the error by Suzuki. And it's 0-1 Michael Young, who walked his first time up.
I thought Suzuki came up the line a little bit to get it. Maybe we have to. Yeah, I thought that take a look at it. As you can see, his leg never got toward the plate there. And still, with that dust flying up there, umpires aren't able to see that directly.
Yeah, Carapazza called him safe once the ball got loose. And Young is down on strikes, so the Phillies leave one over at third, but they score a run to tie the game up. A 2-out double by Chase Utley, an RBI single by Brown. We go to the 5th inning, tied at 1. Francisco Giants will meet here at Citizens Bank Park for the start of a 3-game series. All 3 games are at 7:05 Thursday the 1st. Brad Lidge retirement ceremony. A free photo print for all fans. Compliments of Toyota. Come out to the ballpark to see Brad Lidge's retirement and that 3-game set against the San Francisco Giants by getting tickets at Phillies.com. On to the 5th we go. Adam LaRoche leads it off and takes low. LaRoche fly to left his first time up. He's 0 for 1. And now it's 2-0 to Adam LaRoche. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Braves have tied it up with the Marlins. Justin Upton had an RBI double to make it 3-2. And the Braves just tied it up at the top of the 3rd. So it's a 3-3 game. Out to center field. Ben Revere hovers a little bit, goes over to left center, puts it away, 1 away. Here comes Anthony Rendon. It's time for the Major League Notebook. Murph, take it away.
All right, thanks a lot, T-Mac. Brought to you by Gwynedd Mercy College. And Tiger second baseman Omar Infante was hoping to avoid the DL, but it is not to be. The 31-year-old is battling an ankle injury, and he has been put on the 15-day disabled list. Infante is batting .309 right now for the Tigers through 76 games. And, guys, it appears the suspensions may be coming in the latest PED scandal that has hit Major League Baseball. The players that have been linked to the clinic down there in Miami outside the lines is reporting that up to 20 players may be suspended from Major League Baseball, including guys like Ryan Braun and Alex Rodriguez, who they are considering maybe up to a 100-game suspension for the 2 of those guys, because it wouldn't be their first time being linked to a PED scandal. So still remains to be seen. It's one national report right now coming out on Outside the Lines, but it certainly could have ramifications all over Major League Baseball.
Interesting that they may wait until after the All-Star break. Now, they are still talking to players as Rendon lines one to center right at Ben Revere, but they're waiting. By all accounts from that report, they're going to wait until after the All-Star game and the All-Star break to make any kind of announcements.
It sounds as though they'll interview Alex Rodriguez later this week. They've already interviewed Ryan Braun, and there are some reports saying that he didn't answer many of their questions. So, questions obviously still remain, and it is all speculation at this point until Major League Baseball comes out and proves their case. But right now, that is the report that is out there.
All right, we'll have more on that as it unfolds, whether it be the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks. It's a serious situation from a baseball standpoint. Ground ball toward third, a foul ball. No balls and 1 strike. Kurt Suzuki was hit by a pitch at his first at-bat. I don't think it's at all surprising that baseball will wait until after the All-Star game, because they put so much into it. And I do think that, as Murph said, that there's still some players that they do want to talk to. But I think that it seems that they have enough information to render a decision of some sorts. But they're giving, I guess, the players a chance to voice their opinions.
A little surprised they came out with it even this early until you have all of the facts, because it has been out there. It's affecting a lot of teams, will affect a lot of players. And, there's been other people that have been associated with the game that have lost their jobs because of that. Those are the kind of guys you feel sorry for. As another batter is hit.
Same batter.
Second time Suzuki's been hit. But once it all comes out and it's all said and done, I think that all of us will have a lot more comments that would be on it. And especially for guys that might potentially have the opportunity to go to the Hall of Fame, we'll be able to rehash that out again for sure.
Jordan sacrificed his first time. He is 1 for 4 overall.
Cole trying to get inside a lot more. That's why Suzuki was hit those couple of times. A lot better there, however, than throwing the ball down the middle of the plate where he's been getting hurt so much this year.
Down the right field line, Delman Young is over, and that's where they were playing him. He makes the catch, and that'll do it for the top of the 5th inning. Soft line drive to right, takes care of Taylor Jordan. Onto the bottom of the 5th we go, and Delman Young will lead it off for the Phillies. Summer League, a preview of Game 3 of the Phillies National Series. All that and more on the next Phillies Sports Talk, presented by Classic Nissan. Tomorrow at 5 on Comcast Sportsnet. Bottom of the 5th. It'll be Delman Young, Darren Ruff, and Carlos Ruiz. Delman hit into a 6-4-3 double play his last time up. Sarge, will see what the Phillies could do against Taylor Jordan. They got a run when the top of the order saw him for a second time, although the first 2 guys were retired on ground balls. Now as we go down toward the bottom part, see if seeing him a second time will aid them at all offensively.
And it should, to be quite frank. Delman Young, Darren Ruff, they're going to get him pitched basically the same way. And that is fastballs away, soft. They'll come in a lot of times for effect, but want you to swing at that pitch down and away. Usually it's a breaking pitch, kind of soft.
Outside, 1-0 to Delman.
Should be able to have a pretty good swing if this is a strike. Should be able to look for it in a particular area and let it go. There's that slider again. Got to pick that spin up. You know you want that ball up 2-0. That same pitch looks like a fastball, but it's leaving his hand.
He hasn't pitched much inside, as Wheels talked about before, but that pitch right there, he got toward the inner half.
Yeah, he'll throw inside more so again for effect, meaning that he wants it off the plate, but he wants to try and get you out there with this slider that he's getting ready to throw.
Jason Worth will give this a look over toward the seats, and he runs out of room. Out of play, back a few rows.
that pitch there up in the zone, very hittable. A lot of times, too, pitchers will try and throw that ball, and if it's too hard, they'll hang it. As you saw Jason Worth saying, hey, a little tough to see up there. That's why he was running back and pointing up in the air, letting the infielders know that.
She was just tall enough to get her hand down to make that play. Back toward the middle, a base hit for Delmon Young. Well, Delmon is hitting over 400 in his last 13 games. Gets a leadoff single. First time since the first, the Phillies had the leadoff batter on.
Well, excellent hitting there. I mean, wanted to get that ball inside on him, wasn't able to. That's how quick Delmon was on that particular pitch. Hitting that ball up the middle, good things will happen, whether or not it's hit hard or soft.
Well, Delmon's now hit in 8 consecutive ball games. Here's Darren Ruff. Ruff struck out on that breaking pitch. He got a fastball on the first pitch and didn't connect. We're going to try to work it away again.
It's a good pitch to swing at because it's up. Just needs to wait a little bit longer. They've been throwing Darren a lot of off-speed pitches. It's a pretty good fastball killer. There's that open stance that I'm talking about, and you're vulnerable to that slider that starts on the outside and breaks away like that one. Just got to be a little bit more disciplined and get the ball up. You can see where the catcher's sliding, and if you're a hitter, you can see that. And you know when that ball is usually they're sitting outside, that definitely they want to throw there. You know they might miss. But usually it is an off-speed pitch.
Line drive, base hit it to center field. Well, he followed that one well. It was up, but he just guided it right through the middle.
That's just great hitting. He let the ball travel is right, and you can do that when you have slow feet. You actually look for that pitch. Take a look at it as he plants himself. So he just goes out and makes sure that he doesn't overswing on it. He's taking exactly what that pitcher gave him, and that's a ball on the outside part of the plate, and he moved it the same way. That's good hit.
Well, now Carlos Ruiz, who grounded out to second in his first at-bat. Carlos is still looking for his first home run. He only has 3 extra base hits.
Yeah. Just hasn't been solid foundation for him here so far. Sometimes he does. He'll get into that hitting count, get a little bit too anxious. Sometimes his feet a little bit too quick. You know, when you're doing your drills, if your feet are too quick, guess what? Just don't stride. Take some off that tee or soft tossing, don't slide. Once he gets that first home run out of the way, I think he'll be really a different hitter. I'm sure it's on his mind, or he's thought about it some.
Dirt, and it's 2-2 to Carlos Ruiz. Kurt Suzuki is going to give his young right-hander a little bit of a reprieve.
when he gets it down, it's all the way down in the dirt. But when he tries to throw it for a strike, it's staying up in the zone where that pitch becomes easier to hit as long as you don't pull off of it.
Delman Young's at second base. Darren Ruff's at first. It's going to be tough to score Delman Young on a base hit. And now time is called.
Yeah, he needs a bigger lead, and when the ball is pitched, needs to come off the bat. The only thing he has to watch out for is that line drive.
Carlos chops it toward third. Zimmerman has it, throws to second for one. 5-4-3 double play. That is the third double play that the Nationals have turned in this game.
Well, that ball there that he hits just tailor-made. Not a fast runner, even though Zimmerman, third baseman, slings the ball. Well, it's got to be scary for him. I mean, he just... when he's throwing that ball, Zimmerman, the second base, could flip that ball away very easily from where he's throwing from.
So now they'll leave it up to Cole Hamels with the runner at third. Hamels had a good swing in his last at bat, flied out to the track in right center field. No balls, one strike. Ground ball back toward the middle. Rendon charges. He's got it. And the side is retired. Well, it started out to be a pretty good inning for the Phils. They got the first two batters aboard, but a couple of ground balls after that. And Taylor Jordan's able to work out of a jam and take us to the sixth. All-Stars. Hitting first half, very different from a year ago for the Phillies, has earned his fourth All-Star selection during a great career. Dominic Brown, who was voted fourth on the players ballot, was also selected to the National League team for his first trip to the Midsummer Classic. Dom continues his sensational 2013 season. And Cliff Lee continues to be one of the best pitchers in baseball. And their all-star selections are brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Top of the sixth inning, the Phillies and the Nationals tied at 1, and it was because of one Phillies all-star. that they're tied up. Dominic Brown's RBI single. And there's Cliff Lee, the other Philly All-Star, who will start tomorrow's ball game against Gio Gonzalez. That'll be his final start before the All-Star break. So he'll be well rested to help out Bruce Bochy of the National League on Tuesday night.
Yep.
The All-Star game. Scott Hairston will lead it off. Hairston's 1 for 2. Hamel struck him out looking his last time up. And it's inside and low. 1 ball, no strikes.
He can hardly wait to get him in the lineup. When he sees Cole, Scott Hairston usually has pretty good swings. And hitting not for a high average this year. .178.
That one's hit well, but foul. Ooh. Ooh.
Yep, gotta watch yourself on that one.
Fly ball, shallow left center field. Rollins is out. He tells Dominic Brown he's got it. And there's 1 out here in the 6th inning. Ian Desmond is due up next. Murph, the top 3 teams in the National League East are playing pretty close baseball these last few weeks, huh?
It really doesn't get much closer than this. You know, we've talked about this before, guys, but you take a look at this graphic, and you talk about something that makes Ruben Amaro Jr.'s and his staff's job a little bit more difficult. You know, you take a look at this division and just how close it's been since April 19th, and we've all talked about how the Braves jumped out to that 11-1 start. But since then, the Phillies and Braves tied for the best record in the National League East at 38-36, and the Nats just 1 game behind, 37-37. So you can see no one running away with the division, which, you know, Ruben was asked about yesterday in terms of buying and selling, and he said he absolutely has to take that into consideration.
Well, they've been playing much, much better. I mean, obviously, but I think for me, Murph, you got to get on that roll there where you can pick up some games.
Rollins throws out Desmond, 2 outs. Yeah, that roll has been hard for the Phillies, I think, to find the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, even go back to last year, it never got onto a roll, finished at 500.
Good point.
But I agree with what you're saying, Sarge. That roll, if they can find it and get it, and this is a perfect time for it, it would really, well, it would make the second half, I think, a little more exciting.
Well, they could end up closing the gap and getting to the point where you're fighting day in and day out. You know, who can tell? Maybe they can end up winning this thing.
Yeah, guys, and when you think about it, the Braves, out of those 3 teams, the Braves are the only team that's had a roll so far, and it just happened to be in the first 2 weeks of the season. So, you know, everybody else still waiting for that roll, and if one of the teams, the Phils or the Nationals, goes on that, and they're going to be right back in it.
Well, Cole Hamels with a 1-2-3 6th inning. They're going to need him to pitch like he's pitched tonight to get on that roll. We go to the bottom of the 6th. The top of the order is due up for the Phillies when we return. HD triple play provider of your Phillies. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. And by Nissan. Don't miss Nissan's free to choose 4th of July event. Choose an innovative Nissan and save big on our fuel efficient lineup. Bonus cash ends soon. Oh, it is a beautiful night here in South Philadelphia. The Phillies and the Nationals tied at 1. Phillies off the top of the order up here in the 6th. Both pitchers have done a nice job tonight.
Yeah, done a nice job. However, I thought that for me, Fighting Fields have had a couple of other chances, just being able to move the ball. And obviously, anytime you get those double plays, it ends up killing a rally.
3 double plays. As Wheels mentioned, though, during the outset, that was kind of the scouting report on this kid, is that he will try to get you to hit a ground ball. So the top of the order has 2 of the 5 hits the Phillies have put together.
Speaking of Wheels, didn't you have a little problem with wearing the right shirt? I was looking at the open up the middle again.
And Revere's aboard with his 2nd hit.
Boy, he is just so hot. I mean, this. You're looking at the ball when he's up there. I mean, it's just funny. It doesn't care. You don't care where he throws, how hard he throws. You know you're going to square the ball up. And it's just a great feeling. I wouldn't doubt if you could actually see that ball make contact to the bat. Take a look at it as he drives it up the middle. Look at his eyes right on it. Good things happen when you hit that ball up the middle.
Oh, Revere's on first. That'll bring Rollins to the plate. He's hit it to a double play.
Nice. Maybe if he can start to maybe run a little bit earlier in the count, get over there to second base.
Sarge, you are correct, though. There was a wardrobe malfunction tonight.
That's what we're calling it. Okay, no problem.
Wheels got the red golf shirts confused. Another throw over to first. Here's the look. Now the one I'm wearing to the left is the proper attire. The one that Wheels is wearing to the right is last year's model.
Wait, he did get the Phillies P right. We're both wearing white there. So
that is true. He did the Phillies P correct.
I like how you highlighted that up there, guys. Well done. You know, I've been getting questions on Twitter. You know, who and I didn't want to throw Wheels under the bus, so I'm glad you guys did.
Throw him under the bus.
No, I'm really glad you guys did.
Yeah. Hey, excuse me.
Yeah, what's the matter, Sarge?
What's the half?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You went home and switched it. That doesn't count.
No, he didn't go home. He had somebody go to the hotel 3 times to switch it.
I thought we were looking at results.
Which is why the dollar sign is there.
Oh, okay. All right. I like that.
We only gave you a half, Sarge.
Oh, boy.
And Wheels was imploring us that there had to be something. There had to be some kind of tally for you.
Oh, really? Oh boy, that's and you had 0, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't had a malfunction so far this year.
Okay.
I'm not saying that I won't. What do you mean? I have had one before.
Oh.
And I should be honestly, I should get more than 1 point off when I do wear the wrong shirt because I'm the one that comes up the list.
I don't want to say it, but you know, I'm just going along, following directions, and I think if we start to send Wheels the pictures, I think he'll get it. Okay? Pictures of the shirts, he'll get them all.
Let me ask you, Sarge, how many shirts did you bring to the office today?
I brought 3.
Yeah.
Well, I got the email. It said red shirt with the white P.
Yep.
I had 3 of those shirts.
We do have several.
So I knew if I brought all 3 of them, that I'd have to be correct.
Murph, how many did you bring?
Just the one.
Yeah.
Just the one. I knew what we were doing.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, Murph. That's good.
Rollins lines one to right center field, a base hit. Revere's going to stop at second. Worth got to it quickly and has a plus arm. So that puts runners on first and second with nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. It's just like the last inning. Now, the last inning, Ruiz bounced into a double play. The Phillies are getting better swings right now, Sarge, against Taylor Jordan.
Yeah, solid contact that they're making there. J-Ro getting on top of that fastball, it appeared. And you're right, too, though. Jason getting to that ball quickly. Other than that, it starts to roll.
Well, time now for a Hyundai defensive plays of the game. There have been 4 total double plays. The first one started by the Phillies.
Yeah, take a look at this one right here. Here's another one there. 4-6-3. Right back at you. That ball smoked. 6-4-3 to your liking there. And the dreaded 5-4-3. And you're right, Tom. Those double plays, too, it'll take you right out of the game. Sure. Good defensive Hyundai plays of the game.
Brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Now Utley, who doubled his last time up and then scored the 1 run for the Phillies. Phillies now with 7 hits against Taylor Jordan.
Now, the difference in this situation is that you have the beginning of the lineup, fast runners that are on, as opposed to the latter part where the guys weren't as fast there with Delman Young. Get over on a deep fly ball.
You surprised where Harper is playing Chase Utley at this point?
Well, he's playing them on the way that the charts or their advanced scout would tell you that he's hitting the ball. I've always thought Utley's more of a pull hitter, but will hit the ball the other way.
Now Suzuki went out to the mound because it seemed like he was crossed up on that first pitch from Jordan. With a runner at second base. We'll go through the signs one more time. It's 1 ball, no strikes to Chase Utley with Revere at second and Rollins at first. Steve McCaddy is the pitching coach. He's on the stairs next to Davey Johnson.
It should be looking middle in. Don't want to swing at a pitch right now that would be down and away. That's how you end up getting the ground ball.
Utley gets a ground ball over to first. LaRoche goes to second for 1. It's off the glove of Desmond. Trickles into left center field. Revere will score. Rollins goes to third. And the Phillies take the lead. There just couldn't have been another double play in that spot.
Yeah, that would have been tough, though, to double Utley up on that ball anyway.
No RBI for Chase. It'll be another error charged to the Nationals. Oh, I think Desmond just dropped that ball.
Now, take a look at it as LaRoche gets that ball there. He throws it, but right into the base runner on that left side. Take a look at it. That ball kind of sails on him a little bit, but it looked like he could have caught that ball. I guess maybe he didn't see it. It did hit his glove, however.
Did it hit Rollins' arm at all?
I don't know if it hit his arm on the top or not. I just know that it impeded his vision a little bit, and it goes off the glove.
Well, they scored a fielder's choice in an E3. Take a look again. Did it hit Rollins' arm?
I know it's going to the left there. And
yeah, it did. It did.
Well, that's the reason then that he ended up not catching the ball.
All right, so they've now changed it to an E6. They may change it back because it hit Rollins' arm.
Well, that should not be an E after it hits the runner. You can't expect for them to be able to catch that ball at that particular point.
So a run does score for the Phils. They're up 2-1, and now first and third with nobody out for Dominic Brown, who has an RBI. And Craig Stammen starts to throw in the pen for the Nationals. Change up, and it's 0-1.
Don't want to get greedy here. meaning that you don't want to try and hit that 3-run homer. You just want to continue to make solid contact. Hit that ball where it's pitched.
The ball's 1 strike to Brown. Oh boy, he put his arms in on that one and smoked it toward the camera.
Yeah, he's as quick as anybody now inside. You have to really look out. See all the camera guys. Now look how quick. Watch his hips. See how quick when you clear your hips, automatically head down, right on the ball. It's going to get there. That's why it's so important to try and get to the hitting counts, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, so you can dictate the pitch that you're getting ready to hit, especially if a pitcher hasn't been able to get any of its off-speed pitches over.
By the way, they've just changed that back to an E3. So they do give an error to LaRoche. No balls, 2 strikes to Dominic Brown. And Brown floats one out towards shallow left center. Desmond makes the catch, and there's one away.
Now that was not a very good at-bat. Really set him up pretty good after that fastball in. Came back with a changeup. Again, though, you just don't want to get greedy. You want to get it out there where you can get that other RBI. Well, those are the RBIs that, for a hitter, I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. Unless you may be walking in a run. Those are the situations that you thrive on. First and third, no out. First and third, nobody out. Pretty good pitch. That pitch down, changeup that he threw. Michael Young in a fastball mode. That was a swing like you were looking for the fastball.
Low and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Young is 0 for 1. He struck out his last time, walked his first time.
Huge run. It's on third base. Throwing Michael Young a steady diet too of that off-speed pitches, fastballs away. When they feel you can't hit that fastball, you get challenged.
I'm surprised they went in. Harper's on the run out toward the alley. He's not going to get it. 1 run scores. Here comes Utley. He's being waved home. The throw to the plate is up the third base line. 2-run score. Young's out at third. The Phillies lead it 4-1.
Got to tell you too, though, that's good base running there by Michael Young. You want them to be able to cut off that throw there. You'll take that for a run every single time. Clutch hitting too, by the way, with 2 strikes on him as he comes in with a fastball. To a fastball hitter. Boy, right out over the plate. He splits the gap right over the head of Bryce Harper there in center field. He's got to go and get it by then. They are off to the races. You can see this throw cut off. Wasn't going to get Utley. That's okay. You end up scoring 2 more runs. Nice base running.
So 4-1, the Phillies lead it. That's it for Taylor Jordan. Davey Johnson's out to take the baseball from his young right-hander. Phillies have scored 3 runs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Craig Stammen is coming in. This is an AT&T call to the bullpen. Phillies have broken it open a little bit here in the bottom of the 6th with a 3 spot. All-Star Game is the best of the American League take on the National League's top players. Don't miss the action Tuesday, July 16th at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox. The Phillies have scored 3 here in the 6th. And now with 2 outs and the base is empty, Craig Stammen takes over for the Nationals. Stammen 4-3. This is his 29th game. And Delmon Young takes a strike. It's 0-1.
They got to give Michael Young a lot of credit, though, with 2 strikes on him, being able to drive that ball the way he did. That's why he's been such a good player over his career, being able to drive in tough runs.
Play. It remains 1-2 to Delmon. Delmon singled his last time. Hit it to a double play his first time up, 1 for 2. Taylor Jordan goes 5 2/3. He allows 8 hits. The double play ball saved him in the first 5 innings.
Yep.
Give him credit, though. He was able to roll those double play balls. He may have had another one, or at least a force out at second on a ball that Chase Utley hit. But it turned out to be an error charged to Adam LaRoche.
Yeah, that ball actually grazing right off of Jimmy Rollins' arm.
So 5 2/3, 8 hits. So far, 4 runs. Actually, that'll be all for him as far as 4 runs go, because this hitter is Stammen's responsibility.
He's thrown him 2 sliders in the dirt. See whether or not he goes to the slider or that fastball. Ooh. That was a slider. Good eye, too.
John Mayberry will pitch run for Delmon Young here in the bottom of the 6th. Mayberry will go out to right field at the top of the 7th. At the knees, 0-1 to Ruff. Ruff has a single tonight. He's 1 for 2.
Darren starts hitting the ball consistently, you'll see a lot of balls hit up the middle in the right center. And there's your biggest difference between AA, AAA, and the major leagues, because that slider that they throw on the major league level, like that last particular pitch, looks like a fastball, and then he darts away at that very end.
He got it again, the breaking ball, and he's down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight. The Phillies scored 3 runs in the 6th inning to take a 4-1 lead. So Cole Hamels has a 3-run lead to work with as we go to the 7th.
That is really good right there in your local Honda dealer's game summary. Good dancing going on here. Jason Worth, a solo home run off a changeup, and that's been it tonight for the Nationals. Taylor Jordan, the young right-hander, you can see why they like him. He has really good stuff. Phillies got to him with a 3 spot there in the 6th inning, aided by an error in the infield. Michael Young, a huge 2-run double to right center field, and Cole Hamels, he's been outstanding here tonight. John Mayberry Jr. came in to run for Delman Young. Will now move into the game in right field. John McDonald's going to play third base, and Michael Young moves over to first, Tommy.
All right, so Ryan Zimmerman will lead it off against Cole Hamels. He's been sitting for a while, but he's got the lead. Zimmerman today is 0 for 2. McDonald, by the way, will bat 7th for the Phillies, as you would imagine, since Mayberry came in for Young.
Well, you look at one thing with Cole Hamels, and there's a lot probably going on in this game. The one thing that jumps out at me is his pitch count without foul balls. Big difference in a lot of other games that he has. He's up to 60-some pitches in games in the 4th and 5th inning with foul balls a lot of times. Tonight, a lot of early contact, and he's been able to do that. He doesn't have a high strikeout game either. High strikeout games are terrific, but what they do is build up a pitch count a lot of times. Only 2 strikeouts, and they build up a pitch count because guys are up there fouling off 2-strike pitches before you get them.
Tried a curveball there. It's 2-2. Yeah, just 13 foul balls so far for Hamels. That's a low number.
Really low
at this point in the game.
Right, and you hope that won't start because that will build up his pitch count.
Did you see that graphic we put up before about the standings since the 19th of April? Phillies and the Braves have the best record of the National League East since that time. I mean, that to me is remarkable.
The Braves had that 12-1 start.
Right.
Doesn't feel like it. Like they have the same record as the Braves since that point.
There you go, 38-36, 2 games over 500.
Look at the Nationals. They're at 500.
Mets and the Marlins, you would expect that's where they would be.
Unfortunately, the season started April 1st.
Ruiz will give that a look. They'll be back into the Hall of Fame club. And it remains even 2-2. We got him. Good pitch. Change up. He waved at it. Strikeout number 3. One gone here in the 7th.
You usually don't see Zimmerman look that bad on pitches. And that's when you said, "Ooh, he got him," because this is surprising. You see Cole choke that change up there, split the fingers, and Zimmerman chases the change up in the dirt.
Worth has accounted for the lone run for the Nationals. It was a solo home run in the 2nd.
He's really trying to pitch inside tonight a lot too to right-handed hitters. He hit Suzuki twice, but that's really helped him, I think, get some outs away and some quicker outs away by coming inside early in the count. Really using both sides of the plate well, like that, in out. Coach Stubbe has to really be happy with what he's watching with the way these two are working together tonight.
Way inside, 2-1.
One of your best pitches is a changeup. Pitch inside to right-handed batters a little bit, you'll get them. They won't dive out as fast.
Time to take a look at our Mazda leaders, and Jason Worth with his 9 runs batted in. Among the leaders in the National League during the month of July.
And Ramos came back off the DL and had a couple of big games, 8 RBIs in 2 games. And they were hot over the weekend, especially in that series against San Diego.
In that series, they averaged over 6 runs per game. They had 43 hits. Or I should say they had 43 hits over the first 7 games on that homestand, included San Diego. Out towards center, Revere goes back a few strides, and there are 2 outs.
It looked like he made a good pitch in on him there.
Wheels, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They were each received a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Delaware Valley. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com.
Some of these guys are attacking Hamels early tonight too, because they can see what good command he has on his pitches, and they don't want to get behind him. And that's another reason I think why he's getting early outs in this game, is because they can see we don't want to hit with 2 strikes tonight.
Ground ball right side under the glove of Michael Young and into right field. We'll see how they score that one. I think it's going to be, well, it's going to be a tough one to score.
It'll probably be a hit, but they make this defensive switch because they feel that he can do a better job over there late in the game than Ruff, or else you wouldn't do it. And in this case, That's just under his glove. Now, as you say, that's a tough scoring decision. The play should be made, but he had to go a long way for it. So what do you do?
Well, they do score a base hit. Mike McConey is the official scorer tonight. Mike is an excellent official scorer. He's one of the best in the league.
I think he scored that correctly, even though it's a play that should have been made.
Rendon's 0 for 2. And 1-0.
Juan Hamels will go deep into this game. He already is, but deeper. And all that does is make his pitch count go up more when you don't make a play like that. And hopefully not a whole lot.
Little dribbler up the third base line. McDonald's going to let it roll, and it's a fair ball.
Suzuki hit, yeah. What do you do about this except what John McDonald did? Let her roll and hope it hits something and kicks over the line. And it's not going to. It's a good time for Rich Doobie to come out there because this is when Hamels can get a little bit fried. Because he should be in the dugout cooling off right now. Instead, he's a little hot out there. Great time to go to the mound.
Coming up tonight on Sports Night, Phillies highlights and a full report from the clubhouse, plus reaction from Fred Shearo's induction into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Chevy Malibu Sports Night tonight after postgame live only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Hit Suzuki twice tonight, once with a cutter and looked like once with a fastball.
He fouls the first one off the, well, I guess it was off the home plate umpire. Thought it was off the mask of Ruiz. Maybe it was off both.
It made a loud sound down there.
Late on that 91-mile-an-hour fastball. He may have been looking for something else. It's 0-2, and now Ruiz goes out to talk to Hamels.
This is like, now do we want to go inside at all here if we want to get him out away? Because we come inside twice tonight and hit him. He doesn't move when he comes in there. So if we want to get him out away, do we go to it right away, or do we come back inside to set up the pitch away? And that could be what they're talking about right now.
I'm going changeup.
Well, that's the whole thing. Don't even, in other words, don't even waste the pitch inside since he's hit him twice.
Runners lead off first and second. A 3-run lead. The 0-2 pitch. Fly ball, shallow center field. Coming on is Revere. He's there, and the side is retired. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. 87 pitches for Cole Hamels through 7. It's done a heck of a job. It's time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park. answer. All right, Wheels, here's the question one more time. Who is the key player the Senators acquired in the '64 trade with the Dodgers for Claude Osteen?
Used to see a lot of the seats that he used to hit in RFK Stadium when we used to go down there.
Ryan Howard?
Big Frank Hondo Howard.
Big Frank Howard is correct. Yeah, RFK, even when baseball resumed in the nation's capital, still had the markings.
Oh, he could hit a
seat.
I saw him hit a ball over the roof of Connie Mack Stadium one night. It was just unbelievable how far Frank Howard could hit a baseball.
Well, here we go. Bottom of the 7th inning. Phillies lead it by 3. Carlos Ruiz swings at the first pitch from Stammen. Yeah, there's one away. Well, here is that trade we are talking about. $100,000 was a lot of dough back then.
That John Kennedy, I believe, is the John Kennedy who played for the Phillies here in the late 50s, who was their first African-American player. I believe that's the same guy. And then you see who the Senators got. Ken McMullen was a pretty good player.
Got a scouting report on any of those other guys that were there? Phil Ortega?
Phil Ortega was a right-handed pitcher. I forget. I don't remember who the other two were on the bottom. That's a long time ago. Had Pete Rickard.
Pete Rickard, yep.
He was a pitcher. Dick Nenn is Rob Nenn's father.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
No, we better look that up. But his father did pitch in the major leagues, Rob Nenn. I'm pretty sure that was Dick Nenn. Was it N-E-N-N?
It was N-E-N.
Only one N?
N-E-N. I don't remember.
That's called a palindrome?
I believe that's what it's called. 2 outs. Top of the order is up with Ben Revere. Reminder that this Thursday and Friday the Phillies will have fireworks here at Citizens Bank Park. Both games are at 7:05. Of course, the Nationals in Thursday's game, the White Sox on Friday's game. Order your tickets now by going to Phillies.com.
It'll be a cloud project for you later.
Go to the Cloud and check Rob Nenn.
About the Nens.
Ben Revere is 2 for 3. And he's raised his average up to 303.
Unbelievable how many 2-hit games, multiple hit games this guy has had lately.
Ground ball toward the hole. Desmond surrounds it and throws just in time to get Ben Revere.
Good.
That took a strong arm and a quick release to get Revere and deny him his 3rd hit of the night. 7 in the books. We go to the 8th inning. Cole Hamels will go back to work when we return. Plus Ford stores. Go further. By McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Acura. Acura Advance. Well, it's been a warm day here in the Delaware Valley. A warm night. Phillies offense is warm to 4 runs and 8 hits behind Cole Hamels. Hamels has been very comfortable tonight out on the mound. He is waiting for the Fanatic to finish his act as we go to the top of the 8th.
So we're right about Rob Nenn's daddy being Dick Nenn and wrong about John Kennedy, right?
Correct.
Well, you throw a few things out there, you get some, you miss some.
Well, thanks to Glenn Macnow, who was fast with the information. He was the cloud today.
And a baby, Glenn. Thank you.
There's a fly ball out to center. Ben Revere makes the catch. So Lombardozzi, a pinch hitter, is retired on 1 pitch.
Gave me a chance to do a little history lesson on the Phillies, even though the information was wrong. As Whitey used to say, boys, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
That story that you rehashed today when he interviewed Don Zimmer is just one of the best in the world.
It's a true story, Tommy. The night he interviewed Don Zimmer, and neither one of them knew who the starting pitchers were for their respective teams.
It's so great.
And instead of turning the machine off and starting over, he just kept going.
Oh, it's so great.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Scott Hairston's 1 for 3. Hamels delivers.
Who you pitching tonight, Zim? I'm not sure. Whitey, who you pitching? I have no idea. Now listen, let me ask you this. And he just kept going. As Whitey used to say, that was my fans expect this.
Curveball, that's in for a strike. It's 0-2. Ground ball toward the hole. Rollins gets his glove on it, but Hairston is safe. So a 1-out single. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team, 1, 2, 3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, giving you all your favorite sports all year long. Well, here's Ian Desmond. Desmond is 0 for 3.
So Hamels' reaction on that one.
There hasn't been a lot of barking at Carapazza from a Phillies standpoint. There was some early from the Nationals. That was it, though.
I thought he's been real good tonight, but I don't know. That looked like he had a lot of play.
Fly ball right field. Mayberry going back toward the wall. Does he have room? It's off the top of the wall. It's in play. Hairston's around second. He'll hold up there.
Yeah, he thought that ball was going to be caught. He didn't go halfway, I guess. And he only gets to second base. Boy, did that thing carry? Or did it land? It hit the top of the wall, you said.
Top of the wall. Yeah. John didn't get to the spot, though.
Wow, does it carry? Look at this.
It's a high wall. I don't think he could have. Let's see where it goes. He wasn't in the neighborhood, but it's pretty high up there. Yeah, he could not have gotten that even if he was in that area.
No.
A break for the Phillies that it stays in the yard, and a break that Hairston stayed between first and second.
Looked like a fly ball to right when he hit it. It just kept going. These guys have a great lineup, and they keep coming at you too, especially when you get into this part of it. Got that first fastball away, didn't get that one. They were both close.
It's Pitch count is still in an okay spot. He's at 96, but they have Diekman and DeFreitas for matchups warming up in the bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bryce Harper. And Harper pulls it foul.
Right, because we figured, as we talked about at the beginning of the game, that Papelbon's not available tonight.
So you're looking at Bastardo in the 9th inning?
Yeah, and I think that's why Bastardo isn't up now here in the 8th inning. They said they would make the decision before the game, and then, as Charlie said, you guys will figure it out then when I get whoever I get up.
There's lead off first and second. The pitch to Harper. A curveball. They appeal. No swing, says Lance Barksdale.
Good pitch, and he just held up. I think he held up too. Yeah, he did. Good job by Harper. Good pitch by Hamels. This guy's a good hitter. You don't chase stuff like that.
Every ball game's important. Every ball game is tight. It's a 3-run lead for the Phillies with 1 out here in the 8th. And the pitch to Harper will have to wait as Hamels spins back.
Well, what happened last inning, he only had to throw 5 extra pitches when they didn't make that play with 2 outs. But it got the lineup turned over to these hitters quicker. And sometimes little things like that can hurt you in the game. These guys wouldn't be up right now.
The bases are now loaded for Ryan Zimmerman.
These were really good pitches he made. They were not strikes. And you got to give Harper credit. He didn't chase them either. Right now, Charlie's figuring out his alternative. Do I like the right-hander I have in the bullpen more than the guy I have on the mound with 100 pitches? And there's your answer.
I don't know. It depends on how he goes out. He's going out pretty quickly. Right now, I don't think he's making a change.
Yeah, when he comes out like that, he usually doesn't. And it's a first trip. That's the point I was trying to make. Who do you want out there right now? What are your 2 choices? And where do you go with it? He hasn't been in a lot of jams tonight. I think that's leaving him in, that look.
Hamels 3-11 on the year, came in with an ERA of 4.38. He's coming off one of his best outings of the year, and he's trying to parlay that outing into another good one here. He's got Hairston at third, Desmond at second, and Harper at first, with 1 gone here in the top of the 8th. Zimmerman has popped out, grounded out, and struck out. Midfield is back all the way around, looking to turn 2. First pitch is at the knees, 0-1.
Right, and they'll take it out here as opposed to letting something get through, so they don't have to come all the way out with a 3-run lead and a slow runner at home plate too.
Zimmerman, as you can tell, did not think that was a strike.
Now this is where veteran pitcher and the catcher decide, do we go for a setup pitch here or do we go for what we want to get him out with?
The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. 92 up in the zone. 2 outs here in the 8th.
Yeah, went after him with a high fastball and he chased. Heck of a pitch by Hamels to get Zimmerman to chase out of the zone. And too hard to get more drama than you have right now with Worth coming up in this spot. Zimmerman just shaking his head like, well, he beat me.
Well, the drama is provided by the bases loaded situation and the fact that Jason Worth is strutting to the plate.
He did what he always does. It took him a long time to get up there. He spotted him a first pitch, but he thought that was outside. Now he's going to say something.
He just said no way. Carapazza nodded yes, and here we go.
Let's go, they're saying on the bench. He thought it was high. It was a curveball. That's high.
Well, it's a pitcher's pitch.
Even to the guy as tall as Worth. But now he's got him 0-2, and he can do some things here. He can strike Worth out with the same kind of pitch he struck Zimmerman out on. Jason Worth's hot zone is from the waist down. That's where he wants the ball. That's where he hit his home run today.
Hairston's over at third, Desmond at second, and Harper at first. The Phillies lead is at 3. The count is 0-2 to Jason Worth. Everybody on their feet. And the pitch.
That's where he went. They know Jason Worth. They know that that's the area where he'll chase a lot of times and maybe you can get an out with a strikeout or a pop-up. And they went up there. Now you have to make sure you get it up in that area and not belt high or down.
We'll do it again. The 0-2 again. That's side, 1-2. Hamels is ready. The 1-2 pitch. It's low, 2-2.
Now you try to get him to chase changeup.
Wasn't a bad idea.
Oh yeah, because that pitch is down. The changeup, he kind of hung one earlier that Worth hit out of the ballpark.
Well, the tension warrants another meeting between Ruiz and Hamels.
Well, they don't want to go 3-2, Tom. So this is the pitch of the at bat right now. They know the 2-2 is it.
It's the longest inning of the night for Hamels. Probably the last inning of the night for Hamels.
Right.
The 2-2 pitch. Up high, 3-2.
Now they went with the money pitch, and that's the high fastball. But it was a ball out of his hand. This is where they didn't want to get. Especially after they had him 0-2, but Worth's great at working the count.
Runners will be off with 2 outs. Fly ball, right center field. Revere into the alley, out toward the track. He's under it, makes the catch, and Cole Hamels works out of a bases-loaded jam here at the top of the 8th inning. And keeps it at a 3-run ball game. He deserves a standing ovation tonight. It's been a heck of a performance by Cole Hamels. Citizens Bank Park, and all fans 15 and older will receive the Phillies travel mug, compliments of the Pennsylvania Auto Theft Prevention Authority. For tickets, go to Phillies.com. That's a great giveaway. They were around the office today, some of those travel mugs. We saw them when we were on the road trip. There's always good giveaways here at Citizens Bank Park, but that's a new one, and it's a great one. And it's used by a lot of different folks.
Great battle there. Cole Hamels and Jason Worth. 0-2 to 3-2, and he gets him on the deep fly ball to center field. That was some serious drama. Fun to watch, especially now that it's over.
Bastardo started to throw in the bullpen for the Phillies. Jimmy Rollins will lead things off here in the 8th inning. So the first pitch from Kroll, the lefty, is in for a strike.
It was highly unlikely that Papelbon was going to be available here tonight after all the pitches he's been throwing. So there's your answer.
Off the glove of Suzuki, and it's 1-1. Ground ball to short.
Here's the big pitch. They got to 3-2 with Jason Worth. Supposed to be a fastball away. He probably got a little bit more of the plate that he wanted. But Ben Revere on a high fly ball runs it down, and he and Juge are talking it over. And they kind of look at each other like, we threw that exactly where we wanted, but we got away with it. That's a great job by both of them tonight. Cole Hamels outstanding, and Carlos Ruiz handling him.
Well, here's Chase. He scored a couple of runs in this game. He has a double back in the 4th. Kroll's numbers in 11 games. It's a small capsule, but he's done a nice job for the Nationals. 13 Ks and 12 2/3.
Anytime you have more than a strikeout per innings pitch, it's a good job. Only one walk. .92 to 96. Got a big arm.
Zimmerman over toward the railing and does not have enough room. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Chase Utley. For years, StubHub has been the place to find great Phillies tickets. And this season, you can get more with your tickets thanks to StubHub Fan Rewards. So get to StubHub and grab your seats today. Down in AAA tonight at Lehigh Valley, the Iron Pigs are on top of Pawtucket 5-0. Tyler Cloyd threw 7 scoreless tonight, struck out 4. Eric Kratz, as he continues to make his way back to Philadelphia, he was the designated hitter. He was 2 for 4 with an RBI double and a single. He caught last night. I think his story is remarkable. He was able to come back that fast from a knee problem.
Well, there was at one point where they wondered, when they opened him up and in the MRI, and then they did the surgery, was he going to be gone for the year? Would it be more serious than it was? And Scott Sheridan, the Phil's trainer, said after the surgery, when they made the announcement, that it was best case scenario. Dr. Cicotti was very pleased with what they were able to do with him, and he's going to be back quickly.
the ground ball to the right side. Rendon gobbles it up. The Phillies go down in order here in the 8th on an easy ground ball. So that means Antonio Bastardo, all of 10 career saves, will come on and face LaRoche, Rendon, and Suzuki. Ball game on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Post Game Live. That's coming up after the final out of tonight's ball game. Phillies hope that's in very short order because they do not have Jonathan Papelbon available. And Antonio Bastardo has 19 save opportunities in his career and 10 career saves. And he's going to try to save this one for Cole Hamels, who was, well, I guess the easiest way to say it is that Cole Hamels was Cole Hamels tonight on so many fronts. He's always been a great competitor, but he had some, I mean, he had everything working. He had outstanding stuff. Fastball to cutter to, of course, the changeup to curveball.
I think one of the keys to him tonight, too, as we talked about earlier, was he had quicker innings. Not a lot of pitches, not a lot of foul balls. Then he had a couple jams there at the end, but he was able to pitch through those jams at the end because he was still fairly fresh.
We'll sit and watch and see Antonio Bastardo try to get the 3 outs he needs here in the 9th inning. First one up is Adam LaRoche, who's 1 for 3. Pitch is outside and low. 1 ball and no strikes. John McDonald, the third baseman, plays way off the line with the left-hander up. Rollins shaded toward the middle. 2-0.
Three-run lead. Come in with a left-handed hitter, and you just wanted to throw the ball over the plate. If it's a home run, you have a 2-run lead. If he walks, that's a momentum builder. Leadoff walks, start rallies.
To right field. John Mayberry sees this one and will make the play. And 1 gone here in the 9th.
Good pitch. His fastball away and hit off the end of the bat. And there's your throw it over the plate and make him swing it. See right here, LaRoche opens up, pulls off it a little bit, hits it off the end of the bat, and just a It was a dying quail actually going after. He really didn't even hit it that hard, because we've seen LaRoche pound enough balls over the years.
Well, Rendon has a hit tonight in 3 at bats. Well, behind the first hitter, he's fallen behind Rendon 1-0.
We want this to be Bastardo's inning, not even get anybody else up.
Seems like Bastardo's having a little conversation with himself out there on the mound.
Well, it should be. Let's throw it over.
It seemed like it was a little more affirmative than that.
Well, whatever it was, he got a I love that shot. When you get him doing that, that's exasperation. It's like, this is my #1 alternative right now. Now let's go and get it done.
Three balls and 1 strike. Down the right field line. Is it playable? It's slicing away from Mayberry and into the crowd. It's 3-2. A reminder, game 3 is tomorrow at 7:05. Pretty good matchup of 2 quality left-handers. Gio Gonzalez for the Nationals and Cliff Lee going for his 11th win before the All-Star break.
That's a terrific matchup tomorrow night. That should be a fun game. Those 2 guys are really good.
Ball 4, and Bastardo walks the Rendon with 1 out. And Kurt Suzuki is due up. Chad Tracy's come out of the on-deck circle.
Still Ramos available off the bench. Tracy, Span on the bench, Bernardina, all left-handed.
We didn't mention this before. The Phillies have a different reliever, a different right-hander in the bullpen. Luis Garcia, who was called up from AAA today. Philippe Almont was sent down. No balls and 1 strike to Suzuki.
I don't believe that. That's a pretty good pitch, though. Doing something off speed. Changeup.
JC Ramirez and Jake Diekman now in the bullpen. Just in case.
Yeah, that's what they didn't want to do, is get anybody else up. Three-run lead with 1 out in the 9th inning. You got to win this game.
Now the 1-2 pitch coming to Suzuki. Swing and a miss. He got him to chase. Strike 2, and the fact it was called strike 2 forced Suzuki to offer that pitch. And there are 2 outs.
Yeah, that was a fastball, and he was trying an emergency swing on that one, and the starter throws this too hard and too far away. That's out of the strike zone anyway. Now here comes Ramos.
So Wilson Ramos will pinch hit. Ramos is the everyday catcher. Or I should say the better offensive catcher.
Right. Just off the disabled list.
And time is called.
He's also a guy who hit the ball at the ballpark, so that was key to get Suzuki out there so he's not the tying run. Is making him throw all his pitches. Trying to change spots on him. Well, he looks vulnerable away, doesn't he, with that far off that plate?
Yeah, the back foot is the key, and the back foot is far away from the plate.
You know, he's open. He's going to come closed, obviously. He's going to try to. But he really, maybe he wants the ball in.
Inside, 2-1. Ball down the right field line. Long run for everyone, and Utley can't get there. Mayberry can't. Boy, look at the effort that Chase Utley put in to try to get that ball.
Great effort.
I mean, he had the farthest to go for all 3 of the fielders.
You know, if that ball had just been hit higher, he may have been able to get to it. It isn't hit all that high. They're playing Ramos a little bit over towards right center with Mayberry. So as you said, he's the only one who can get there. Another step or two, or another second or 2 of hang time, and he's got it. Games like this on a summer night are fun. Good baseball.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Ramos. And the pitch from Bastardo. Fly ball right field. Mayberry on the run. Back toward the track. Reaches up. It's over his head. Off the base of the scoreboard. 1 run will score. And Ramos will pull into second with an RBI double. It means the tying run will come to the plate. Ball kept on carrying.
I don't know. Take a look out on the replay. It looked like he had a shot at it. There's a high fastball out over the plate. Takes a look, takes another look.
There's a little stutter step right there.
Ball has a chance to be caught, really.
Yeah.
Just stay after it.
Little stutter step right before the warning track. And it went over his head.
And you have to deal with Hairston.
I would agree with you, though. Looking at that replay, that ball looked like it should have been caught.
Well, especially with a 3-run lead. You're fairly deep. It's not a don't hit it over my head type of defense, because you have 3-run lead there. If it was that, he'd have been even a little bit deeper and it'd probably been easier. But it looked like he was drifting at the end, and then, as you said, did that little stutter step.
Well, Hairston tonight is 2 for 4.
Ball fastballs, he attacks. from left-handers.
And now Bastardo asked for Ruiz to come out.
We just talked about it.
Last year against left-handers, Hairston with the Mets, this is where he was most effective with, was a .274 hitter with 11 home runs. Overall, he had 20 home runs. Bastardo's had his number, though, as you can see.
Just won't stay out of the middle of the plate with a fastball to him early. Bullpen will age a lot of people.
Well, if Bastardo loses him, I think J.C. Ramirez is going to come into this ball game. 2-0 pitch at the knees, 2-1. Popped him up. This should do it. Chase Utley is under it, calls everybody off, and the Phillies have taken the first 2 games against the Washington Nationals. Yes, you can exhale. Cole Hamels 8 strong innings tonight. He gets the win, his 4th of the year. He was fantastic from start to finish for his outing. And then Antonio Bastardo, it got a little dicey in the 9th inning, but Bastardo was able to close the door and pick up the save for the Phillies.
Well, who else but Cole Hamels is going to be our Chevrolet player of the game? He had great stuff here tonight. He got hitters out a lot earlier, not a whole lot of foul balls, had a low pitch count going deep into the ball game. Good double play right there. Didn't have a ton of strikeouts because he was getting a lot of outs early. Changeup was very good. Uses cutter, uses high fastball. He wound up with 4 strikeouts. Got Jason Worth in a huge spot there late in the game with the bases loaded. Game on the line. And Cole Hamels rode that 3-run lead here tonight to a heck of a victory.
Great job by Cole Hamels tonight to pick up his 4th victory of the season. The offense did a heck of a job, too. One guy had a huge hit for the Phillies. Well, a couple of guys, but one big hit was off the bat of Michael Young, a 2-run double, and he's down to the field with Murph. Murph, take it away.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, the big double in the 6th inning really broke this one open, and it was enough to hold on for victory. Just talk a little bit about how this offense really started to click on this homestand.
We're definitely starting to swing a little better. I think up and down the lineup we're having some better at-bats, but with the way Cole was going tonight, I mean, that was definitely the story of the game. Just pitched an incredible game. We knew that the way he was going, if we scored a few runs, they had a good chance of holding up.
When you're playing behind a guy like that and you can see what kind of stuff he has, does it kind of feed the offense a little bit, knowing that if you just get a couple across the plate, you're going to win a ball game?
Without a doubt. We feel like with our starting rotation, if we go out there and keep having good at-bats, we have a good chance to win a ball game. We know we're playing a really good team over there right now. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to grind away. They did that tonight to make us work for every out. But if we continue to do that as an offense, we know we're going to be in really good shape.
There's been a lot of talk about just how important this week has been. You guys have played some very good baseball. In big picture scenarios, just how important it is to get these wins, first over the Braves and now the first 2 against the Nationals.
Well, the last thing we want to do is put too much on our plate. I think if we do a good job tomorrow just bearing down tomorrow's game, we'll be in a really good position mentally to go out there and put a nice little run together. But we're just going to lock in on tomorrow.
All right, congrats, Mike. Appreciate it. Guys, back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. So Michael Young and the Phillies offense banged out 8 base hits tonight, 4 runs. It was enough to give the Phils the victory. Cole Hamels his 4th win of the season. Antonio Bastardo the save. And the Phils have taken the first 2 games of this 4-game series.